Welcome to the RC Motorsport Europe podcast.
Hello.
Hey up.
Welcome to the first EFRA podcast of 2025. I'm Matt McCallum.
I'm Frank McKinney.
We're from RC Racing TV and we are the EFRA media partner, and it is our absolute pleasure to talk you through some of the races coming up this season, the European A Championships and some of the Bs, but the EFRA sanctioned events. And we were going to do the whole calendar in one go, but then we realised A, that would be a really long show, and B, not everything in there would be of interest to everyone. So we are starting now for the outdoor season. Sorry, 12 guys. It's been and gone. That's in the books.
Congratulations to Mark and Ollie.
Congratulations to you guys. But now this is the 1/8 off-road section event preview podcast. So we're just going to take those events, and it just so happens that the next event happening is in Valladolid.
Yes, for the
8th e-buggy.
8th e-buggy.
Oh, yeah. Before we get to that, you were going to show us something.
Before we get into the race calendar, which is just very easy to get right there, let us show you on the EFRA.ws website. If you scroll down and you'll see Ignition Buggy here. You'll see this is the section with all the pertinent news for you guys that are watching this right now. So you'll see there's a couple of letters from the EFRA off-road section chairman, which we're going to look at that very quickly. There's section reports from last year, the muffler list, which is going to be very, very important for a lot of you. But first, let's, before we get, we're not going to look at that one. Let's look at this one here. This is the most recent letter that Carlos Gomez sent out.
Got you.
Hello, all my friends in the sport. We're not going to read it. You can read it all.
It's EFRA.ws.
Yes. So there's various information here for the Italian race, the B Euros tire selection system, and we'll harken back to these when we talk about the specific races.
Yes.
So don't worry about that. But again, make sure and download and read at least this letter yourself, so you're fully up to date with everything, as up to date as all the other racers will be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So we just want to make sure and point that out. So we're going to go into deep dive into the calendar now. So in race information and then race calendar. So the first event coming up, as it's just in a couple of weeks' time, I think, at the time we're recording this. So action is about to really kick off. Look how busy June is here. All of these races, this is on-road. This is electric on-road, electric buggy. There's GT8. There's international races and Grand Prix, but we're going to talk about the e-buggy race in Valladolid in Spain, just a little bit north of Madrid. So we have a little bit of footage here. We don't have any current footage of the track as it is at the moment, because they have changed this. This is from 2016. There's what I called the Green Mile way back then.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
So these are 10th buggies going around.
Of course.
So we're going to be seeing 1/8 scale buggies going around. Again, in electric at least. There's a big, I can't remember if the bridge is still there, but...
And to be fair, you say, this is a 10th track, 8th track, hybrid track. You can even look there. This isn't like a tight Robin Hood type situation. This is a track, and it won't be in this configuration. They have modified it for the 1/8 event. Yeah,
but there's no AstroTurf.
No AstroTurf
anymore at all.
Bonus if you're a non-AstroTurf type racer.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very interesting. So let us show you just real quick the. Paused. So this is the stage 2 report for the Valladolid track.
Hot off the press, came out just this week.
Very, very recently updated here. So like all stage reports, this has the track location, the track officials. There's the location just a bit north of Madrid, on the same sort of latitude as Barcelos, but obviously much, much more inland.
Yeah, we'll come to that soon.
And there's a teaser of what the track looks like.
No, that's relevant.
Isn't it? Well, okay. Well, that's
Is
a bit
it?
confusing, isn't it?
It is Redeville, isn't it?
It is.
Yes,
All
that's
right,
the
then.
Worlds in Redeville.
Yes.
Wow, I'm really impressed with myself for spotting that. And that is because
Here's our timekeeper.
your timekeeper there was the timekeeper for the Worlds.
Yeah,
Fantastic timekeeper as well. It was amazing to work with him. And yeah, confusingly, that's him.
Good eye,
Worlds.
Matt. Okay, so here's the general schedule. Thursday, registration. Friday, everything kicks off. But here's the actual time schedule. Thank you to Paul Worsley, I believe sets up those. Supermarkets near the track for the food and everything. Electrical sockets. So you get the idea. This is all very important information for you, the racers, and especially, as I always put, team managers as well, because
Indeed.
they're going to be getting all the questions.
Indeed. So similar format to what we've seen before. Everyone turns up on a Thursday, practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday, race time on Sunday.
Yes.
The climax of the event is on the Sunday, as it is in a lot of the 3-day electric events. Move to the Nitro. No racing on Sunday, and the finals are on the Saturday. But that's just how that is. E-Buggy is a fantastic field of racers. Our current champion is Davide Ongaro, who's also the world champion 3 times over in the Nitro version of this class.
2-time winner in this class.
2-time winner in this class. He also had it in 2019. And of course, previous running of the event before that, 23, Michal Orlovsky, who has asked Schumacher to give him an e-buggy.
It'll be interesting see what he shows up with.
Yeah, I mean, it will be maybe a bit more development from the previous one. And all these races are going to be turning up with one eye on the Worlds, which we'll come to, the inaugural Worlds, which will be taking place in Portugal later in the season. That is super exciting. But yeah, Juan Carlos Canas, he won at the Hoodie Arena before that. On home ground, you might say, the Spanish driver. Jean-Pierre Sartel, I remember that one. Jean-Pierre Sartel winning in France in 2018.
Is he the Pink Panther?
That is, no. That is...
the other Sartel.
That is Uncle Jerome Sartel.
And then there's Thomas Sartel as well.
There's a whole dynasty of Sartels.
There's a whole clan of Sartels that are out there.
Jean-Pierre won the Euros at that very rustic track, I do recall, in France. What a wonderful event that was. And this looks to be, it's going to be amazing to be back at Valladolid. We've always enjoyed the 10th Euros that we've covered there.
Yeah.
You'll have coverage from myself and Nick Damon on that one, so that's going to be good one to watch. And yeah, as I say, everyone's eyes are going to be on the Worlds. Other obvious contenders are going to be, and when you talk about Orlovsky, you have to talk about the Kiliches, who are very much part of that final. But then Bruno Coelho, is he going to be running that? I mean, I know he's doing 1/8 in the Infinity.
He did recently finish on the podium in Portugal at the first Nationals for Portugal.
Okay, so we know he's running the Infinity buggy. So I guess, hopefully he'll be there.
And that's all prototype as well. The Nitro and the Electric are both prototype.
There you go. So he'll be there. It's as competitive as the Nitro class. Slightly different format, but it is going to be one that I'm really looking forward to.
3 10-minute finals.
Robert Battier won the inaugural in 2015. Is that the inaugural, or is that just the...
I'm not sure that... I don't think that is the inaugural.
Okay.
But we only went back 10 years. Obviously, they were skipping out the COVID years. But
yes. No, I think that might have been, actually. I think that might have been the inaugural because... not sure. But I do remember the 2 Ronafalk wins... Also in Spain, Malaga, that was a good one. And then in Croatia. So, we will see. Also, looking out for who's doing really well in e-buggy 1/8 right now, Pekko Ivanen.
Yes, with that new Mayako prototype.
Yes.
So lots of prototypes.
Is he going to be there? Mayako have previously not really focused that much on e-buggy. It's always been, I feel like, kind of an afterthought. But with this being a World's year, are they going to go all out? Are they going to start pushing? Are they getting with the program and realising that, as Lefty would say, e-buggy is how you pay the bills. But also this year might be a little bit of the glory too.
It will be very interesting to see how things shake out there. Okay, so next event up is...
You might say the premier event of the season. It's always the hotly attended, most viewed, most prestigious event in Europe. I don't think actually prestigious is not the right word, but the most hyped.
The premier event. I mean, I think you already said that.
All of the Euros count
everything builds
in their own right and are all very, very prestigious. But you can't really argue with the fact that the biggest viewer numbers tend to be this event right here.
Yeah.
And back at Barcelos, 2022, last time we were there when Ronefalk won. I've never been to Barcelos.
Yeah.
I'm really looking
Same
forward
here,
to going there a number of times this year. If you're watching this now, IBC is this weekend or last weekend, or if you watch this in a month's time, IBC was a month ago. You get how time works. But IBC is the warm-up for this event and the Worlds, which is back there, the e-buggy.
It's wild. It's a Barcelos team is going to be very, very busy.
Absolutely, yeah. And the Barcelos team are incredibly professional.
Yeah. We have on screen right now is the 2022 main finals, led at the moment by Canas.
Yep. Spoiler alert, not for long.
This is just an example of the track. Obviously, it will be different, just like Biodeleted is different now. But yeah, this is I love the red painted infield. It's
absolutely.
Very, very cool. Of course, we had the plastic marching band and the 3 tenors at the prize ceremony.
They went all out.
It was very, very cool.
They also had the walk, and we weren't even there, but this reached us just through the media and the photos and the videos that emerged from the events, the kind of corridor of history.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Amazing what they went to. And you'll see in one of these shots, the bleachers on both sides. This is what you get at a Portuguese race. They promote... You go to Porto. We were saying this earlier, weren't we? Is it Porto?
Not Porto. Villarreal.
Villarreal. Go to Villarreal for Euros there at that wonderful track. And you will see billboards and posters around the city centre.
And street signs telling you this way to the pista.
Yeah, yeah. And
very cool.
As you see, the locals come out and watch 2 full bleachers at each end of the track and wonderful location.
Yeah, it's not just racers that didn't make the A final in the mechanics. It is literally like local people. It's really, really cool and a great atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And, huge, rich history. Looking through some of the previous winners, go back to 2015, that was Elliot Boots taking it in 2015 and 2016. Boots, bit of a resurgence at the Redovan Worlds, making the podium and showing everyone, and also at the DNC, year before the one that's just happened at the beginning of this year. So last year, winning the DNC and showing everyone, I got it. I've still got it. So
it certainly does.
Watch out for what he delivers at that event. And that whole S-Works team.
Yes.
Canas, kind of the premier of that team. But you've got the footing of Boots and Battier.
And Battier looking after everybody. But this new driver, I mean, relatively new to me, I should say, but Andre Bento on the podium and... I think first and second at the Portuguese National Series for Nitro and Electric. So, I mean, he's definitely one to watch out for.
Yep. This is a big year for Bruno Cahelia because he's only doing 2 classes. So he's going to be looking for a win. He's going to be wanting to show Infinity what he can deliver. So he'll be out. His home country, Portugal. I don't know how much time he spends in Portugal because he's traveling the world developing that 10th on-road platform. But... he's going to be there in full force, I have no doubt. Ricardo Berton, who was with Infinity, no longer with Infinity, now with Kyosho.
Yeah.
We're going to see
Savoia.
him. Yeah.
And Barufalo.
Barufalo. Are we going to see them back, resurging? And, David Ronefalk, who won his most recent Euros at this track.
Many of them 2-time champions as well.
Yeah. When he was with Mayako. And then now, obviously, with the X-Ray, with that full team alongside him. And there's going to be a big push around him, of course, because with Bruno not being there, there's going to be a big push around him. He's going to have Martin Bayer and all of the X-Ray knowledge and that massive team that they bring to every Euros and every event. So
got setups for every single contingency.
I've, of course, not named everyone, but this is going to be a super, super competitive event. And as I've said before, everyone's going to be there with one eye on the Worlds because this is the track for the e-buggy Worlds.
Yes.
So we're taking a look at what?
This is the stage report from the Barcelos Club, just showing off their facilities. Well, I shouldn't say showing off, but
There's
just
that corridor. How
yeah, there it
cool.
is. Yeah.
Who
And
goes
again-
to this effort? Amazing.
And what's cool is that looks like it's the driver waiting area or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're waiting to go out for your qualifier, like stood in front of all these photos of winning famous drivers from years past. You're like, yeah, okay, no pressure. It's just a qualifier for me,
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's very cool. It's pretty nice and great to see all that happening. So yeah, that is the stage report. So again, just a quick flick through that. You can download that, check it out for yourself on the EFRA.ws website.
Joao Figueiredo.
Yes.
Got to mention
of course.
him, obviously.
Yes.
I think the last time it was here, I believe he struggled a little bit. And that often happens when a driver is also
That home
hosting an
track
event. And
pressure.
he's not the host, but he's involved with the club.
He's
very
certainly
much
helping
so.
organize the IBC this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So we're sure he's going to be also helping out the club. So it's possibly a couple of layers of pressure on him. And I think is he the top techno driver in Europe possibly?
I would say so.
So he might have some other drivers coming up to him saying, can you help me out? And so there's a lot there. I mean, no pressure, Hal.
Yeah,
no pressure.
No pressure. But we're seeing, this seems to be a big year for him. We're seeing Techno and the ProTech package that he seems to be running. They're flying him to the States for the big races. So he's getting about. So are Techno going to say, look, just step back from the organisation and focus on the racing because we need a decent result at the Euros. I don't know, but that's going to be one to watch.
So many contenders. When there's like 15 or 20 contenders that could easily make it into the A final, it's going to be tight and good racing as well.
Yeah. Last thing on this from me, obviously the Killiches, but last thing on this for me, a friend of the Killiches, teammate of the Killiches under the Ong brand, of course, Mr. Ongaro.
Yes.
Never won in this class. So he told us earlier in the year that he would quite like to win one of these.
Yeah. Of course, he said that the ultimate checkbox for him to tick off is winning the Euros and the Worlds in the same year.
Yeah, so that can't be done this year, but it wouldn't hurt, would it? It wouldn't hurt to just, there's a bit of a Euros, Nitro Buggy Euros, of course. Many other Euros, don't worry. But a Nitro Buggy shaped Euros hole in that Ongaro trophy cabinet. So we will see.
Maybe just like a blank acrylic base, just like waiting for a Euros trophy.
As he had the T-shirts made, the T-shirts that he brought out at the first Red of Iron Worlds. Never forget that. Fantastic. Just loads of T-shirts with World's winner.
Yeah.
Crazy that he did that. He didn't have them at the last one, or at least he didn't bring them out. Has he been taking them to every Euros?
Yeah, what do you do with a box of T-shirts?
Charity shop.
We'll worry about that. We'll worry about that when it comes. But later, just a couple of weeks later, after the Euro A, or the Euro 40 Plus
here we go
race in GB in Hertfordshire, sort of down the road from us.
Yeah, and this is a track that we know very well. We've covered many.
This isn't the track, by the way. It doesn't look quite like that.
No, we've covered many UK events here, and we've covered one B Euros here. I think many.
That was quite a while ago. I wasn't at that one.
I wasn't at that one either, but I do remember it happening. So yes, amazing that Hearts are hosting. 40 Plus is always, it's kind of the party one, isn't it? That's the reputation
the vibe
it's got.
is meant to be like really chilled and laid back.
I will say I've never been to one, and that's super exciting for us. That because it's in the UK, we obviously are going to be there because we're also in the UK. So we're going to be there. It's the first time we're going to get to cover it. Yep. Big shoes to fill because great coverage last year when the event took place in Germany, where Martin Fortmüller from Austria won. That was good coverage, and that was a great event. And that was the first year where they had the control tyres as well. Which I was not sure about this control tyre. But if you ask anybody that went to that event, or at least anyone I've asked, they said it was a great success. And they're pretty. It's
kind of a tester sort of thing this year, and we'll get to it when we talk about the Bs. This year, the B Euros is also doing something similar. So, but we'll get to that. The control tire for this particular event is the Jetco, and you can see here, the Jetco J0 Composite Super Soft, pre-glued, pre-mounted, so that's pretty handy. They did just recently have a warm-up GP, so hoping that a few of the European racers made it over, and we're hoping that lots of European racers make it over. I call this track the Nürburgring of off-road because I just went through the carousel, which is concrete.
Yep.
This is all hard-packed, heavily oiled dirt, and there's a AstroTurf section coming up right here, leading into a brick section, back onto dirt. It's just all over, and it's the track. I think the track times are like something like 35 seconds or something like that for these. These are sportsman sort of club level racers. These aren't like the top pros. So we can expect the 40 plus guys, expecting them to be a little bit faster than these drivers here. Finishing on back onto the brick.
Oh, tricky there.
Yes. And then the loop is right there. And of course, it can be changed around. There's actually some wood bits as well that make up a tiny bit of the track surface. You kind of just drive straight over them. They don't make up any of the turns, but it's a true multi-surface track.
Yeah.
And very twisty as well. And again,
you can see that
they'll be moving it
we're
around
being showed very conveniently just how hard it is. No disrespect. I wouldn't be able to do a lap on this, but we see in second position Graham Allsop on the timing, who won
previous winner
in 2022.
Yeah. And I think, Kev Brunston, who's on John Hazelwood's team, who won the year before Graham.
There you go. He did. And we also, I can see Jake Dell, who I'm assuming is offspring of John Dell. Probably not
famous
40.
Mechanic for many of the UK races.
Probably not 40, so probably not taking part, but I'm sure maybe he'll be there. Who knows? It's going to be a great event.
Yeah.
I've seen photos of people marshalling with a beer, and to me that's
there's
like
John Hazelwood there, just marshalling.
That's like fun time event. And will that happening? Maybe it hasn't been cracked down on. I don't know, but it's going to be a good one. I hope Kev Brunston's going to be there.
I'm sure he will be.
Surprised not to see him in the 40 plus Euros top
he finished
step.
top 3 a couple of years ago, I believe. But just a real quick one on this one. In Carlos's letter, there is a information here, I think further down, about, here we go, the Masters 40 plus tire regulations. So make sure, and again, go to the EFRA.ws website and look for the most recent letter from the 1/8 section chairman, and you will get all of this information. This is the exact letter right here, but it does detail basically everything about the tires that you need to know. Okay, so make sure and do that. Purchase form, the price and everything. All tires will be pre-glued from the same production batch, which is pretty handy. So yeah, make sure and check that out. And that is for the 40 plus.
Yeah, and say what you like about controlled tyres. It is tried and tested in this event. It was run last year. It was seen to be a success. It's back again, and I think it will contribute to the party atmosphere in the sense that one of your jobs is taken away. You don't have to worry about tyres anymore.
Yeah, one less thing to bother with, and just worry about your setup and your driving.
Yeah,
and your engine.
And also, you because you're having not to invest in loads of different sets of tyres, you've got more money to spend on refreshments.
Yes,
at the track. So it all going to go together to make one heck of a fantastic, fun event, and in the UK as well.
Yeah,
it's nice for us.
There's also on site, maybe like 100 yards away, the Hertz RC model shop is right there as well. So fairly well stocked.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can probably pre-order stuff or have stuff shipped to there if you want. Hertz RC models, you can see it on the screen. Okay, so
are we going back to Portugal?
I think we're going back to Portugal now. So many trips to Portugal this year.
Yeah, this is the big one.
And this is the following month. At the end of August is the WC World Championships for e-buggy. Again, back in Portugal. Same footage as before, but there we go. That's the start of the main final.
There you go.
From 2022. Yeah. So e-buggy Worlds again. All the names that we just rattled off for the Nitro Euros. I think you can probably just lump them all in again for this one.
Yeah, and well, with hopefully a few non-EFRA racers as well. Maybe some Americans, maybe some Australians, Asians. Who knows?
I hope we see some American. I mean, I'm not saying this as an American, but I hope we do see some off-continent challenges coming. We got there's loads of racers from Asia, and the Philippine Buggy Masters just finished, and who is it? Kuki Kato just took that one.
Yep.
I mean, profiting from Ongaro and Kilic both not finishing, but you got to be in it to win it. And then we got Mayfield. I don't know if Tebow is going to be doing this one. We got Lutz, Drake maybe. So yeah.
We hope. The World Cup, which took place last year, was kind of a precursor. It's kind of an EFRA rule. Not an EFRA rule. It's an IFMAR rule that the World Cup has to take place before a Worlds. And it happened. Not many people attended. Canas did. He won.
I think it was the same weekend as the Dirt or Silver State, wasn't it? Something like that.
Lots of things went against it. The main one, that it wasn't a world championship. This one's a world championship. The only thing that this is struggling with a little bit is that the 1/10th Worlds in Australia, which is a very expensive trip, is very, very soon after this takes place. So, yeah, it's going to be an amazing event for sure. And is it the future? You tell us. Yeah. Is it the future? Is e-buggy the way it's going to be?
Yeah.
10 years from now? Is that going to be the main class? Who knows?
Is it going to be? I think we'll see some specialist, allowances made, just like for classic motorsport. But I will say that there are drivers who kind of specialize in the electric off-road side of things for 10th buggy. I'm talking about. And they might give this one a miss, especially if it's that close that they really have to, because there's time changes and sleep patterns and just getting your head around things, and there's all sorts of things that can mentally and physically affect people who travel for 24 hours or so around the world to go to Australia to race, at the highest level.
Yeah. But for a World Championships, an inaugural year, it could not ask for a better start. For this track as well, I mean, they're going to be well set. They're going to have all of the bugs ironed out because IBC, followed by the Nitro Buggy Euros and then the World. So they're going to be well in their rhythm of running big events. And
I think things will be absolutely nailed down.
It'll be nailed. It'll be amazing.
And it should be really, really close. I hope that there's lots of international, I hope that the non-European racers look at this and go, okay, we really need to be there. This is a big one for us.
I really hope so too. I didn't mention the 40 plus Euros is going to be hosted by Frank, so that's great. This
not
event,
hosted, commentated.
Well, I don't know. I hosted, commentated, compared, MC'd, whatever approach you like, that's fine. E-buggy Worlds at Barcelos is going to be commentated by Tom Cockrell, so that will be great. He did the 10th buggy Euros in Sweden. He's doing the 10th buggy Euros for us at the Hoodie Arena as well. So awesome that we will get him too. Super knowledgeable and just great at describing the action.
Yeah, should be really, really good and fantastic racing as well.
Yeah.
So let us now move on to the final one.
The climax of the year.
Weirdly, the B Euros.
Yeah.
Of IC Buggy.
A little bit later than we've experienced recent years. We've kind of had it right in the thick of the racing season, but it's been kind of pushed to mid-September, which I think is fine. I think that's good, particularly this track in Gosago, which is a beautiful, really wonderful track in beautiful surroundings.
As an example, this is not how they're going to start. They're not going to have gate starts like this. But it is a pretty cool way to start the race, but you'll see the track in just a second. You'll see Ongaro, Canas, Boots, Ronafalk.
None of which will be on the track.
Yeah. They'll all be, we imagine, helping in the pits.
Maybe.
The drivers.
Maybe. They might be on their way to Australia, but we hope they will be helping in the pits, because that's some of the coolest things we've seen at previous B Euros, is when a pro driver is there. They're not even allowed on the track. They're allowed on the track, but they're not allowed to race. And we'll get into that in a moment. But it's so cool when they turn up and they support all of the drivers in their country or in their brand.
Especially the ones who are maybe not used to being like sort of a team manager. They're more of a mentor. They're more of a, try this, try that sort of thing, or like just calm yourself down, or here's how you get in the rhythm sort of thing. Of course, they're going to have their country managers, and I imagine their various chassis manufacturer team managers. Yep. But they're there as like, I guess, to just help out their brand and stuff. It'll be pretty interesting.
We had Ongaro at the last one. We had Figueiredo at the last one. Both just like doing what they could, but also becoming a little bit more frustrated that they couldn't get on the track. And Figueiredo said to us from trackside that he'd just said to the person he was talking to, who was looking after, if you keep driving like this, I'm going to come up there and do it myself. So,
which he's not allowed to do. So, So getting into that, let's just give this a pause just for a second. But we do have a list. Now, Carlos Gomez, the section chairman, again, sent out a list. Drivers not eligible for the Euro B in 2025. So these are the drivers who, basically the top 40 drivers from Sochile from last year and the top 40 drivers from the year before in Radovan. So you can see here, obviously, we've got Canas, Coelho, Ronafalk, Barufalo, Ongaro. So top 40 drivers, and any driver who has ever taken part in an EFRA European Championship A main final in any class of racing in the last 15 years.
So that could be a 12 scale Euros.
Yeah,
that could be any large scale.
Mark Reinhardt is not allowed to race
in the B Euros.
in the B Euros for off-road IC buggy.
Yeah.
Just the rules, but there you go. So in case there's any doubt, here are the actual names, and then anyone who's finished in an A final the last 15 years.
Banned.
So quite interesting.
Yeah.
Also, another thing for that one is another tire selection.
It's
system.
creeping in. Is it going to happen? We keep thinking, is it going to happen? It's not quite the same as the 40 plus.
It's a bit different. So
so how's this work?
So we'll do this. Just open this one with the Italian race, which takes place at the same track that we were just watching, the Osby team track in Usago.
With our very good friend Mao from Mao Graphics hosts that event and will be no doubt very much involved in the B Euros as well.
I think that's coming up in just a few weeks' time, isn't it?
It is.
For us as we're recording. So Carlos is saying here, the track will remain open for an additional 1 to 2 days of tire testing. This is crucial as the September EFRA European Championship B will feature a designated single profile tire system per brand. Now, it's a tire system. Mm-hmm. There's a tire selection system for the EFRA Euro B. So each participating tire brand must designate one commercial, I imagine that he means commercially available tread pattern with a free choice of hardness and compound, insert, and rim. And then the initial allocation, you get 4 marked sets per driver, and then you have to buy them from the distributor of that particular driver. So whoever sells them in Italy. So it's a very interesting thing for that. And the submission deadline is still actually open as the time we're recording this. It closes on July 6th. And then the drivers will basically pay €4 per set. And you can switch between brands during the event based on availability.
Yeah. It's a really interesting kind of hybrid system. And we're also going to see another battle that happens, because usually when we have a control tyre, the control tyre manufacturer, the supplier, turns up and sits there and sells the tyres. Yeah. But now we're going to have tyre manufacturers going head to head, and it will be probably quite clear who is performing best on that track. And it's usually known who's performing best, and you get sponsored drivers who will just run the brand they are sponsored by. You also get sponsored drivers that will just run the brand they're not sponsored by. Maybe they're not supposed to according to their sponsorship contract, but all those sorts of things, I think, not speaking for EFRA, but I think EFRA thinks are kind of away from the essence of what a B Euro should be about. It shouldn't really be about sponsors dictating what you use. It should be more about limiting the amount that you might have to spend, having a clear choice, and then defining which is the best tyre available at the track.
Yeah.
They haven't gone all the way to a control tyre where there's just one set. Everyone just gets that, which they do at the 40 plus. Will they move to that in the future? I'm honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think the Italian race, and especially these 1 to 2 days of tire testing, are going to be pretty important for all of the tire manufacturers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be interesting, and be curious to see how this actually works out in Gusago. But Gusago, can we say, just an absolutely lovely place. It's almost directly east of Milan, and I think about, as the crow flies in a straight line, I should say, for if you're not, that's a kind of an Americanism sort of thing, but about 20 kilometers away from Lake Como in the Italian Alps.
We went there on the way home.
Beautiful.
It's honestly breathtaking.
Yeah.
Breathtaking. Like if you just go for the surroundings, and a fantastic race that will happen as well. I say that like there's a possibility you're still deciding or not. If you're still trying to decide, you're probably too late.
Yeah.
Most of these events are already fully
the allocation's probably already taken. Yeah. So this is the stage report from the OSPI team track. So again, as usual with the Italian stage reports, just very nicely laid out with the tricolore and everything. Hotels and information, places to visit. There you go. There we go. There we go. Wine, lakes, old buildings, all perfectly lovely. And yeah, so very nicely laid out and fairly well run from what I remember. And it was very, very hot when we went. But
so hot. This
is in September, so it should be calmed down. And as you said, it's very close to the Italian Alps, so it should be nice and cool, I hope.
Yep. Previous winner, last year's winner, he's not allowed to take part. That's David Todd. He's now too high ranked as a driver in this class. So, yep, he can't take part, but he put on a fantastic show in Spain. Previously to him, it's like a who's who. Remy Bermudez, Max Gotzel, Danny Bernabe, Matti Polito, Mika Whitmire, Juan Carlos Canas. You heard of him?
Yeah. You may have. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. Ricardo Berton. Even, the likes of Lee Martin have been B Euros winners. So this is the springboard to amazing things that can happen. And it is a beautiful thing that it is limited to who can take part, and it kind of shows you who's coming up, who's going to be.
I think it's a really good system
things in the future. Yeah,
and especially with the like the senior drivers like Ongaro and Canas and Batye and senior. I mean, they're younger than me.
Yeah,
a lot younger in some cases, but they're there to help. And to bring in the next crop of and not just their brand that they're supporting as their chassis manufacturer, but also their fellow countrymen, fellow Italians and Spaniards and British racers. So it will be interesting to see who wins that one and how that driver does in the future.
And also, it's not just about the young'uns, not just about the young guns.
Yeah.
We have the likes of Peter Harder, a good friend of the show. He can compete in the B Euros and the 40 plus Euros and regularly does.
And the E-Euro.
Yeah. So, it's not just about the young guys. It's about anyone who's outside of that particular window and being stunned at how the competition is still high below the 40th place at the A Euros. Yeah. It's just phenomenal. It is just phenomenal, and what a great point to end our little tour on.
Definitely. Okay, well, that is it for now for this podcast. It's just the first in a series. Remember, we got many more podcasts to go. We have many other sections to look at, but because the e-buggy Euros are coming up first, we want to make sure and get this one out, and so you guys can check it out and just maybe be reminded of this information, especially about the tires and the testing and all that stuff. So hopefully you're signed up. If you haven't, talked to your federation in your country, find out who the team manager is, make some friends, and try and get a space.
Do that. Get all the information you need on EFRA.ws. That is the website for EFRA. And if you're not going, you can watch the whole season on EFRA's YouTube, on RC Racing TV's YouTube, and on social media as well. Yeah. So if we don't see you there, hopefully we'll see you online. And thanks for watching or listening, if you choose to listen. And we'll see you next time for the next installment, which will be the next class, the next section that we take, which I think will be Nitro Track.
Nitro Track, yes.
So we'll get you guys soon. Thanks for watching and listening. See you soon.
See you.
Check out EFRA.ws for more info about RC motorsport in Europe.